And now on the back foot here against ONSIDE Gaming, who did come in through the open qualifiers. Some of these names you may have seen from the likes of Rebirth in particular, who has played on a past roster here in Stage 1 and are looking to make a name for themselves here in Stage 2, as XO also looking to redeem themselves.
Yeah, so that's an interesting storyline we can talk about, right? Because Rebirth came from Crazy Raccoons, which was the team that XOXO lost against yesterday. And so they're the reasons, Crazy Raccoons are the reasons why XOXO are trailing behind ONSIDE Gaming here in Group A. And I don't know if, Rebirth is gonna just try to manifest their old team's kind of motto and push through and maybe get the dub onto XOXO. I mean, if they do that, they're gonna be sitting a pretty 3-0 in the groups.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what ONSIDE want, right? You want to put yourself in the best position possible. And what better is it if you come out with a win here and you put yourself basically in the playoffs. But now here is where it all has to begin, right? ONSIDE need to look for a win here in map 1, hopefully in map 2. If they don't pick it up in map 2, there's always a map 3. But now, step 1, take over in the Celestial Husk, which will be the random map of choice here for our first map.
Yeah. And step 2, figure out how to, work around these picks and bans. The ban of Captain America coming out from ONSIDE Gaming, and Zayda has been so good on the Captain America, just being that back line vanguard, which is a word that, just surprises you, but the vanguards do precisely that. They take attention away from the squishies that is the rest of your team, and if you're able to, work around the duelists of your opponent or even the strategists of your opponent, your backline should be safe. Granted, they're not flanked on, which is precisely what XOXO want to do as well.
Yeah, and we're also going to touch up on it a little more, right? XOXO, this is the team that really likes to play a dive style composition. Their team motto, quite literally, is dive or die. And it makes this team really fun to watch, especially when we're watching Sungjuk Woo, who is most notably the Spider-Man player here in the Asia region, and ONSIDE are very much well aware of that.
They are indeed. I mean, the Captain America out of the way, the Spider-Man out of the way. They're really trying to shoehorn XOXO and take away their dive or die kind of motto that they have been running so far. But hey, if anything, we've seen them come out with a bit more flexibility in matches to come. Granted, yesterday, they did lose against Crazy Raccoons with Spider-Man out of action. So ONSIDE Gaming are just taking a leaf out of Crazy Raccoon's book and doing the same thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Both sides also banning away the Ultron, but it looks like ONSIDE might have found an opening here. They will take the Captain America for themselves. They're thinking about it, and they will pull through with it. Captain America, a great choice when it comes to annoying the backline of the enemy team, as well as keeping your own team alive, thanks to that Freedom Charge, as XO will use their final ban on that Magneto.
Hero. Villain.
I mean, yeah, In-hyuk has been such a wondrous staple here, so you want to keep In-hyuk on that Captain America. And interestingly enough, AIM, typically starts things off on domination with the Ultron, but with that banned out, Phoenix will have to do. I mean, the Phoenix is no less of a threat, honestly, on the Ultron, especially coupled with WDY on the Psylocke. ONSIDE Gaming are doubling down in terms of the way they're taking these angles and flanks onto XOXO, which is actually what XOXO like to do. So it's a bit of a who can get the quicker dive on the other person.
Yeah, and ONSIDE, we saw them play their match, I believe, yesterday against Incipients. The individual firepower shining in that series. Surely, in this scenario, I wouldn't be surprised if someone from ONSIDE just goes absolutely ballistic, absolutely nuclear even, when it comes to these domination maps. Whereas XO, they're cooking up something interesting right now. I'm not sure if that'll be the final choice. Sungjuk Woo looking to rock things with the Black Panther
All you need to do is capture the mission area.
as they
Got
do
it?
set up a teleport off the rift.
Friends have saved my life.
Yep, trying to isolate these fights is important. Really look
they're
at having a
splitting.
good call on to the BP. Might be the first thing to come through. Can't find a pick necessarily, but at least they've stormed the side and yeah, aim immediately taken right off the rib. That's gonna be Zeta. No Captain America within their bounds, but Venom will have to do second best onto now.
A nice
The Psylocke has to dive, duck away from into safety. Lone Swift gets the pick out, but the trade on to Rebirth will even things out.
Yeah, Sungjok Woo will find things onto Dawn. A great pick there. We'll even stack it up onto Tuba. Both of them skewered out of the fight as XO will take control and start stacking up the site.
Indeed, it's going to be a Lone Swift who had opened the portal and back on his signature Jeff to just apply more pressure along with Sungjaku as well as Athena around the corner. I mean, so much angles that you have to worry here on this Celestial Husk map as we try to go again. And that's already dived into it. The stacks are up in arms but able to build the shields enough to get one and get out.
Yeah, great play from Zeta, finding a pick onto WDY, keeps onside staggered and keeps them at bay. So now the approach coming in from onside as they look to just go right into the high ground, go straight into EXO's throat. Can they find anything? Great flick from AIM to secure one players from EXO. Sungjaku out of the fight, 27 days as well. It's trade, but it's still in favor of onside as of right now. Rebirth will use the invisible boundary, but needs to seek protection from his fellow Doctor Strange as AIM is able to find on your left. Dawn and AIM both dragging out as XO are going to lose control finally at 68%.
A bit labored from ONSIDE Gaming. Their game plan towards that tail end was really to group up and try to isolate these fights, you know, which was the right deal. Able to pick off like the likes of the Lone Fist plus Zeta out of their hiding spots. And it was still very labor created there. Now 68% under the belt on XOXO. They're going to come back in and try to regain this without a hassle. Wait, what's going on?
Yeah, a lot of dives going in, but a good eye of Agamotto onto Zeta. There's only one person, but it might be the tipping point here as Sungjaku bangs their hand at boss. Will find the fellow Vanguard. It's going to be a Vanguard for Vanguard trade for the time being. Sungjaku regrouping, finding another way in as the Jeff ultimate does come in. But I'm not sure if it found anyone of importance as XO still staying on the side, staying on the point as Sungjaku keeps his man advantage on the side of XO.
I mean, they don't have the point yet, despite how many eliminations they've run their way. It's the side of WDY, who's just finding picks after picks. But Zeta, Sungjaku tries to make it more interesting now, forcing ONSIDE Gaming out. Now, Captain America has anything to say about that. Oh, Lone Flips will fire back with some beautiful shots from the Land Shark, falling back and look, still buying time. It's the side of all these individuals. Rebirth will be eliminated for the cause. It's 1v1s galore, but they still have the fight within their control. They're buying it with staggering non-stop, and finally at this tail end, no, Captain America's still here.
Oh my goodness, the amount of staggering that ONSIDE are willing to go through, and they're able to get themselves all the way up to 87%. But now ONSIDE, they did stagger themselves for what seemed like an eternity here in round number 1, as ONSIDE look to group up, and they need to win this fight if they want to have any sort of chance of taking away this round number 1.
They've got a few ultimates, right? Most importantly, it's going to be a Lone Fist trying to counter all of those with some damage. Sungjaku starts things off with AIM. Overtime trigger, the dash comes out. One can't find the mark, but the dashes are not quite either.
Almost there. It almost finished off key members as Ace charges up the meteor, great block from Tuba to deny a catastrophic result. As the Eye of Agamotto is going to be popped, but there is no value out of that. Songjok-woo and Zeta did get briefly stunned, but I think it was from the Captain America of Inhyuk, as ONSIDE are falling one by one. Dawn now has his overall. He sees it immediately. That overtime meter is getting ever so slightly smaller as ONSIDE are forced to stay on the site, or else they will lose out on this round.
Yeah, the Fate of Bulls was just keeping them a little bit alive. Now the Fate of Fast Step can't find much though. So Inhyuk with a defeated charge, has to go to dance around. A kick back trade so far from both teams. The survivability now kicking in is we're just trying to farm as much ultimate percentage points as possible.
Reaper does have the invisible boundary, will pop it immediately. Tuba again threatening with the Eye of Agamotto. Needs to find a key stun here in this overtime, and there it is. Alone Phils and Ace are gonna get stunned up. They do find the land shark, and they soon will follow up on Ace as ONSIDE Gaming looking good, looking strong here in round number 1 as they try to steal away XOXO01's round 1 victory.
Is that it? Is that it's going to be 99%? It's going to be 27 days as well as Dawn being traded take the time.
Whoa, the Jeff.
Jeff comes out, focusing on the last shot. I love this will
Nice.
meet their demise. Now overtime, the clock is ticking away. Does XOXO make it? They don't. They're a foot out. And the first point does go the way of ONSIDE Gaming.
Rebirth was also there just in case they were able to find a way to get onto the site to shove them away, and that all but secures it for ONSIDE Gaming. A robbery, in a sense, in favor of ONSIDE. They were able to just steal away this round from XO that looked so strong, but during that round as well, ONSIDE willing to stagger themselves to try to
Get ready.
sap out as much percentage points as possible. Proved it, and it was enough. If they didn't do that earlier, there was a world where XO were able to complete the retake.
I think so. I mean, that was some 5-head move from their used bodies to just buy enough time. You know that they haven't quite capped. It came in, Inhyuk was the first one on, and Inhyuk was the last one on as well. The Captain America being an absolute nuisance for ONSIDE Gaming, and Inhyuk knows precisely that.
Got it.
Here we go. We go at it again here in round number 2 of map number 1. XO. It looked like they had it in the bag, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to cross the line. And now are looking to redeem themselves here in round number 2 as they both converge onto the site. The End Song Inferno available on AIM. Ace also has the Meteor M as well. Those are really the two ultimates to look at, but then again, both Luna Snows on opposing sides will have their Fate of Both Worlds online soon until Alone Phil gets the opening pick.
I mean, yeah, WDY was a bit too far out and was caught off guard. Now, high in the sky, T-posing for farming. It's going to be the End Song Inferno. Finding not much value because it's going to be Dawn in the midst of it all. So sending the rest of them. Ace will go down for the trouble. Tuba with a nice punch to the face.
Yeah, good trade coming in. AIM won't get taken out. Finished off by Alone Phils, who's just being pesky on the sides as stuns come in left and right from both sides of the coin as XO right now is slightly in favor as they're able to find another pick. Another trade comes in favor for Zeta as the rest of XO looking to take over at least in the early stages of round number 2.
There it is, Songjok-woo onto the Human Torch. Right, we saw a lot of eliminations that the BP was able to run on point 1, but off the back of those, somehow it was not enough. We needed map control. That's precisely what that Supernova can precisely bring. So much value right off the rip.
A bit of a reset coming in from ONSIDE. They do find Inhyuk relatively early. But look at Zeta, he is swiping his mouse back and forth, trying to figure out where in the world is ONSIDE coming from. And they finally do reveal themselves as AIM, finding some important picks, important damage points as WDY realizes that the time is now to use the Galactic Legend. We'll find one, we'll find a second. Can he find any more? But I think it's enough for ONSIDE to retake the site.
I don't know just about that because 27 A's does have their coverage revival. They're coming back for more. As well as the Jeff in the midst of it all. It's chaotic. The spin to win from WDY does so much. A 3 for the price of absolutely nothing. As ONSIDE Gaming will be able to secure this point for reals.
Yeah, and so far already 20%. Now ONSIDE, they just have to play the waiting game. They just have to hold off the offense of XOXO01. Any adjustments coming from them? So far, nothing. As ONSIDE, though, look at the amount of ultimates available to them. XO only are working with 3.
Coming strong right now. It's gonna be all the madness from Dr. Strange, just mowing them down. XOXO standing 0 chance. The last 2 are fleeing for their lives. Oh, it's all blink and you miss it.
Yeah, and already
Their team's
ONSIDE
capture
will
progress
overtake
has
XO
passed
here
the
in round number
halfway
2.
point.
XO need to find something out of the bag here. They need to get a little bit deeper in their playbook if they want to find a way back in. But it's not looking good. XO and ONSIDE both have 3 ultimates apiece right now. And it's all up to Ace, all up to on your left, all up to Zeta on XO to find a way back into this site.
Super Scatter is the play so far. Right now, it's going to be these teams both here on the point as well as Don applying back pressure. Yep, this Inferno somehow in the midst of it. Some just does get eliminated. And now, Don, the dance floors on both sides, just trying to hold on sustainment while the silent seduction tries to wrap the rest of these folks in.
Agamotto also used, but it's not going to find anyone as the lone field finds 2, but ONSIDE team up to find 2 more for themselves. XO now in a man advantage, 4 versus 3 right now on the point as Zeta getting taken out dangerously low. Aim needs to just find the frags. He knows that there's no strategist available to heal any of them up as Aim needs to land the shots, needs to find an opportunity, but the site goes in favor of XO.
Second shift.
Don't stagger though, don't stagger. You know you have time. 61% is XON climbing, but you're sitting at a comfy 19-9. It just takes one effort as Aim tries to kind of reposition around. You see that help from ONSIDE both sides. Now Supernova coming up from Zuku. And the response from Ninja is going to be that Captain America pushed through already. It's going to be that Luna still taking out of action from both sides.
Yeah, great trades, 1-for-1 overall. Dawn needs to rejoin the team now. XO still lacking a strategist for the time being as XO looking good right now. They have a 1-man advantage. Can they find more? This point going all the way up to 99. It's looking close. It's looking likely. Here we go. 99 versus 99 into overtime as ONSIDE trying their best to look for any sort of advantage, any point. No, they cannot step. They cannot go in. And XO will respond with round number 2.
I mean, it came down to the wire, though. It really looked like there was few terrific counters from ONSIDE Gaming. You know, yes, 728s with a nice karmic revival, but WDY coming in so powerful with some good tracking on that Star-Lord as spin to win, just to be able to get a nice 3 for the price of absolutely 0. That's a steal in no grocery store they will ever find.
This economy, yeah, you're not going to find anything like it.
Not yet, this economy.
With you,
But
too.
props to XO.
No, but
They were able to redeem themselves. They were able to keep themselves afloat here in this map number 1.
Any chance you
Now
got
both
spare?
sides with 1 round apiece.
Black is not my
And
color.
here, we're about to see the tiebreaker in about 10 seconds.
the battle
You know,
starts
ONSIDE
in
Gaming,
5,
you know, we talked about their fluidity
3,
with the way they play.
2,
New York leading the charge literally as Captain America to distract and confuse XOXO, who honestly kind of love this type of chaotic space, right? They like to dwell in the mess of it all and normally come on top in the team fights, but ONSIDE Gaming just making it super painful for them.
Did you see that?
Big check up on the ultimates. XO working with 3. ONSIDE though. really only have aim. WDY and Dawn are close to their ultimates, but it's really on to Dawn to see how fast they can get the Fate of Both Worlds online and ready to go. Because that might be the tipping point, but we'll see as XO have a lot of offensive ultimates, and they will pop one right now. Linville will be picked away, and they shut down the Fate of Both Worlds on Dawn. That is absolutely massive as Alone comes up with a triple, might even find more. Songjak-woo teams up with the rest of XO, and a devastating shutdown on the side of ONSIDE Gaming.
Alone Flits back on their Psylocke. That's precisely the point. You know, off the jet, that's perhaps a little too gimmicky now that we're moving into point 3, and the focus fire from Sung Joo-woo was able to nail down a Luna Snow within their Fate of Both Worlds, which is phenomenal. So that was an ultimate completely negated by XOXO, and on the left got theirs as well. So that's extra protection for them as they continue racking up percentage points.
Yeah, this is looking really difficult for ONSIDE to retake. Like you said, Eternal Bond online now on your left has the Fate of Both Worlds available. Alone Bills, you gotta be careful there. He's dancing with fire, and the fire does succumb to the life of Alone Bills for the time being, as the rest of XO dumping their ultimates ONSIDE will respond with their own. Thankfully, Reverb did have the invisible boundary, and they will keep themselves afloat in this fight. But now everyone dumping their ultimates, this domino effect as Ace splitting up, doing a little bit of Shadow Clone Jutsu here, as Ace is able to find Tuba, and the rest of XO looking to hold yet again until Zeta will find a pick with WDY, also looking for trades, but it's all blue here on the feed as XO looking to hold, and Alone gets another triple as well.
Yeah, this is the XO that we know, loves to dwell in the mess of it all, in the chaos. They find order, and they're able to focus fire, not letting up the gas. They're gonna press the issue straight in. They know that perhaps if they can force out, that Fate of Both Worlds just to be able to get themselves ONSIDE, that's a huge dub for XOXO.
Shutout needs to be prevented here. Ace, can he confirm their suspicions? But it's a trade of ultimates. Meteor for Galactic Legend. Songjak-woo won't make things in favor until Inhyuk pulls it right back. And it's just this trade for trade, back and forth, tug of war battle as Alone Bills trying to find this pesky little Captain America who tries bouncing in, but it's not gonna matter until ONSIDE look for a desperation portal. Dawn dangerously low, gonna get taken out. ONSIDE might just get shut out here in round number 3. That overtime meter ever so slightly getting smaller and smaller as Ace is able to keep the team alive, keep the team going, and XO complete the reverse sweep in map number 1.
Oh, I mean, great adjustments from XOXO, right? Not letting your mental fortitude break whatsoever. After point number 1, because ONSIDE Gaming had a few gimmicks up their sleeve with, like you said, throwing players onto the point just to delay and play around with the hearts and minds of your opponent. That was ONSIDE Gaming's, but hey, XOXO, back to basics. Swapping Sung Joo-woo off the Black Panther onto another signature character they have, having the aerial superiority, that dive factor as the Human Torch was the beginning of the end for their opponents.
And this is what we wanted to see from XO. We know that their dive composition is going to get shut down, especially with the Spider-Man band, especially with some other dive compositions, dive characters, I should say, are also getting banned, like the Captain America here in this game in particular. And we've seen Songjak-woo piloting the Human Torch before in stage 1, and here it's proving to be valuable as XO take control here in map number 1. ONSIDE, though, they have been looking so good.
They have indeed. I mean, ONSIDE, they really decided not to run the triple strategist that is so common for teams to do so on the domination match. For the most part, they were running 2-2-2 throughout the entire kind of 3 points. And while it kind of worked out with a bit more damage, I'd say, on that first point, it kind of whittled out towards the end, especially when the likes of Alone Flits and Sung Joo-woo, Alone Flits, right, getting a massive value on the Psylocke.
Oof, I don't think I've seen a a Phil's masterclass on that Psylocke in a bit. But yeah, that is something you do need to be scared about, and that's gonna cause a bit of a dilemma on the side of OnSide Gaming as they do choose their next map, as well as figuring out what they want to ban this time around. Because do they still commit to the Spider-Man, or do they have to dump a little more resources of bans into like the Psylocke, maybe even the Torch? So it's going to be a big question mark as to how OnSide approach this next map.
Yeah, I feel like leaving both these heroes on the choice for XOXO is just a little too deadly, you know. Might have to go for a double duelist ban, which is very expensive because then it lets up a lot more that XOXO can bring in. Like maybe you have to sacrifice a Mantis ban for another duelist, or perhaps an Ultron ban for another, but that just means more choices for XOXOs and their backline to then support whoever is that duelist that will be, you know, whichever is the remaining pick basically for XOXO.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult break for OnSide to consider their options. But we're gonna head into that break. OnSide really need to put their thinking caps on, figure out what is the best option coming into the draft here in map 2, but we do have a break in between, so don't go anywhere.
Like the wind and fire, and wonder no more. That now is the only time your heart is mine. Light has fallen, darkness grows, and yes, we fight for our destiny and fate. New days smiling for the past and future. Break those chains, lead the way, fight with me. And when you wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time walls. Before the rift splinters again, we are rebels till the end. Rise up, open your mind, hold on to your powers, no one can stop us. We are rivals again until the end of time. Show me that you are still the only one that matters for me. I'll be waiting for you. Wait up, open your hands, holding on to your heart. Look inside you. Can you feel it? The sparks in you. Light it up, unleash it up. Wake up, open your eyes, raising up your fists and smashing through time walls. Before the rift splinters yet again, we are rivals till the end. And rise up, open your mind, hold on to your powers, no one can stop us. We are rivals till the end of time. Remember the dusk, the lights gripping tightly, trapping all those fighting souls. But yet, across the world, I see you standing in my way. And remember the time, the place we used to fight, like the sun and moon. And I wonder if ever there was a time that we were friends. The night has fallen, shadows looming, and yes, that time has come for me to seek you out. We are set now for our last reunion. Break the chains, find your way, come fight me. Do you remember who you really are?
Welcome back to the very last series here at the end of week 1, where OnSide Gaming finally experienced the first taste of defeat. They've gone 4-0 so far in the group stages, but having lost against another other than XOXO, who have to be obviously relieved that they were able to bring map 1, or at least the first point under their belt here.
Yeah, this is the first time ONSIDE have dropped a map, so this is also going to be the first time they get to choose what map to play on, as well as pick the side, and they will choose Midtown, the popular choice so far in Stage 2.
I don't know how we went from nobody's picking Midtown to everyone's picking Midtown now. I think perhaps some sort of influence or just comfort in terms of being able to just have a lot more scrims on it perhaps, or having your type of playstyle adapt to it, because both these teams have the flex, have like kind of the flex fluid motion and not necessarily run like double shields or triple vanguards a lot. Perhaps ONSIDE Gaming have a few strats up their sleeve against the fluidity of XOXO on this map.
Yeah, we'll see what ONSIDE decide to cook up here. XO, a sigh of relief, like you said, taking away the map for themselves in the first match around, and now if XO do win out on this match, what happens here in this Group A or Group B? Where's it? Group A. Group A. Yes, it's Group A, because right now, like we talked about all the way back at the start of tonight, that rift between the top teams and the mid to backfield. What is the outcome here if XO do come out on top?
Well, it's obviously good news for them, but it also kind of narrows the gap between the top 3 teams here in this Group A. And regardless, that's precisely what XOXO want to do. They've already experienced 1 L, and a second one would be, a stake to the heart. As we move straight into the picks and bans here, Captain America right off the rip. Oh, that once again, very targeted against Zaytha. We'll have to see if that pans out, because they've done that again in the first one. Didn't quite pan out for them, right?
Yep. They did take the Captain America for themselves to give In-Hyuk the comfort pick of the Captain America. But what does ONSIDE choose to do here? The Loki would be a very, very good pickup.
Yeah, and once again, the sustain coming out strong with the God of Mischief. So that'll be XOXO's cue, right? You gotta ban out the Luna Snow, and perhaps thinking about others that could be replicated. The CND, the Ultron, of course, classic. The offensive and defensive strategist that can do a lot on your plate.
Yeah, XO ban out the Ultron onto ONSIDE, but ONSIDE respond by banning out Sungjok Woo's option, their safe option of the Human Torch. And now ONSIDE, I don't know. Do they still ban out the Spider-Man, or do they leave it open? Midtown might be a little bit of a difficult spot for Spider-Man to shine, but we will see what their last ban will be.
Yeah, you're right. It is a bit more close-quartered, especially if they're able to hide around in the buildings to avoid little Spidey from just absolutely dunking on them. And, we kind of talked about it before. That is the ban of choice. They'll go ahead and secure themselves the Cloak and Dagger, which goes very well with the Loki. We'll see what that final ban from ONSIDE Gaming will look like.
But XO instantly respond with the Magneto when they see the Cloak and Dagger being locked up for ONSIDE. And that just allows XO to just make sure, if they do run that Cloak and Dagger, that XO have ways of shutting it down, and the Phoenix
The right heroes could make
will be
all the
also
difference.
banned out, and that allows Sungjok Woo to shine on his hero of choice.
Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Okay, toying with our feelings. I won't talk too much about the hovers happening in
at least
this
it's possible.
stack, but it 100% is. We kind of talked about ONSIDE Gaming moving to 2 duelist bans instead of a single one to really limit the choice that XOXO can run. They've just done exactly that. But once again, it does open up the field for XOXO to run some more interesting plays. We'll have to wait, because they're on the attack side. They're gonna kind of toy around with our feelings. I'm gonna look at ONSIDE Gaming's defensive, running that triple.
Yep, running it back. And almost every team has been doing that, apart from a few who do opt for the 2-2-2, but so far the triple has been reigning supreme here as XO look at the lineup here. Well, we have yet to see if this will be the final choice for XO, at least for the opening fight.
4, 3,
But look at the amount of dive available. Inhyuk is just raising his hands up, trying to zone away what is XO's push as we head into the second map.
Trying to farm ultimate points, towards that strangling prison. Already alone place around the back, using the super fluid dive mentality to isolate the side of ONSIDE Gaming. Perhaps finding a pick.
Here we
and
go.
then waiting for it. Oh, already it's just an absolute massacre. XOXO reigning supreme within ONSIDE Gaming's hiding recesses.
Welcome to Alone Fills' blender as he's able to just wipe the floor of ONSIDE, dashing in and out and in again. And this was the dive composition that XO really loved to run, really loved to play, as the rest of ONSIDE look to flood onto the site, onto the payload, and to try to stunt this push coming in from XO. But the sheer amount of dive, Alone Fills on the Black Panther Ace just now on the Magic, able to find the pick onto one of the members of ONSIDE, but there is a trade back and forth. This has been the main story of these trades, going back and forth and back again, as XO looking to command the push, command a first point for XO.
They never lost sight of the objective whatsoever, and it's gonna be Sungjung Woo on that Squirrel Girl doing absolutely
here we go.
everything. Okay, just trying to get themselves a bit of a platform out, a bit of a rolling start. I'm a little confused about those balls, but nonetheless, it's gonna be Spider-Man right off the
This
rip.
is where we, this
Trying to
is what
hunt
we
for a
want.
bit of an early target onto the land shark, quite caught.
Put some pep in
Trying
my
to
step.
lock on, but onto the mess we go.
Yep, Sungjung Woo on his hero of choice, the one we all know and love. Spider-Man going to be used as ONSIDE, struggling to stay on the side, but WDY will provide some respite as one member will fall, but Sungjung Woo and Alone Fills team up to melee down 2, and everyone else of ONSIDE looking to find a way back in. Ace even contributes as well. 3 dive characters, 3 dive duelists on the side of XO.
I mean, they are really rocking it right now. I mean, we call them dive-esque. I'm gonna have to just call them dive mains at the moment because they're absolutely clicking heads. Even on your left, the newer player here on the team, the Shifted, does everything for themselves. As you see the Spider-Man hunt down, has a spectacular spin around the back, looking for a bit of a target. I hear Jeff's and now the spectacular spin will isolate WDY in this back line. Rebirth knocked out as well.
Yeah, great awareness to realize that this
Watch out, they're headed our way.
is an opportunity to stagger out ONSIDE. Sungjung Woo, you could go for the hero play, you could go for a flashy multi-man spin, but realizes that the better play, the correct play is to just isolate WDY, just take him out before the rest of the team respawn together. And we'll see if that'll be enough as Alone Fills on the side assassinates the land shark yet again.
I mean, it's a twofer, right? It's just the duelists being able to play together and work their magic, and look at all these bodies falling. It's gonna be XOXO finding their pace, rate and pace well within under them. Someone has been stalling the side, but it doesn't really matter because there's so much forward pressure from the duelist. Ace on that on the magic, and Sungjung will clean up shop onto this land shark.
They just hound them down. They just come in like wolves looking for their next meal. It's ONSIDE. They're just getting ripped to shreds right now. The dive composition, the magic, the Spider-Man, the Black Panther. Trying to be too much for ONSIDE as XO are looking to secure that 3rd point. And it starts right now.
Yeah, has to force out the Karmic is as DB so early on after moving on to the Adam Warlock. Now hunting down the Light Ace. Will find the mark in Cuba. ONSIDE Gaming firing back, finding value in these early picks. It's only Zeta actually who's running Vanguard for XOXO and will be immediately dealt with by Dawn at that tail end.
Yeah, great hold. Finally coming in from onside, some sides of life. To neutralize the time potential coming out of XO. But XO, they're not going to stop. They're going to keep going with the triple dive. Duelist, Alone Phils has to hand the boss. Sung Woo will have his spin up in a few moments time. But on your left, N27As have their ultimates as well. They're able to trade, and here we go. This domino effect of ultimates starting to take shape, but XO have a lot more resources to work with. It's a matter of how much do they use, how much do they save. As XO look to go on the offensive now.
Now Rebirth kicked off the Eternal Bond just to be able to provide that last minute sustain onto the rest of ONSIDE Gaming. Now looking at something more the spectacular thing does it all as well, coupled with the silent seduction versus Ziva just means ONSIDE Gaming experiences a team wipe towards the tail end of this third leg.
They use everything, and most notably, they were able to do all that before SGB was able to use the Karmic Revival. And now XO inching closer and closer onto the site. SGB, when do you do damage? When do you go hide and try to get a valuable Karmic Revival? These are so many things to consider as WDY gets a great pull. But will it capitalize? Yes, he will. Finds Ace. Will keep XO at bay for the time being as ONSIDE are looking to hold, looking to stop the push coming from XO. And so far, a slight adjustment for XO. They will go away from the magic and will put Ace onto the Magneto.
Yeah, they're realizing that running single Vanguard is just a little too much because the ONSIDE Gaming are playing together, so they're just leaving Sung Woo with
Oh, great pull!
Again, that's the pull! That's gonna be that Karmic Revival out of the way!
Cocoon, but Sung Woo is tracking him down. He is ready to pounce as soon as SGB comes back. All eyes are on this Adam Warlock. That is their win condition. That is their way of coming back onto the site, onto the fight as WDY is able to find the slam onto Sung Woo as SGB still alive and kicking. They might not even need the Karmic Revival, but we'll see about it as SGB will be able to defend himself. Will shut down Alone Phils, and the two dive players of XO will have to be sent to spawn.
Okay, I think ONSIDE Gaming is really starting to get wiser of XOXO's technique. They're really hunting around these corners. Oh, the beautiful stagger onto 27As, and on your left, both strategists mean that time is ticking 20 seconds for XOXO, and they've lost both of their backliners, and that's time bled away from wanting to push back onto this cart.
Perfectly time this invisible domain, invisible boundary to perfection. As Sung Woo wants to look for an isolation, might find it onto SGB, and SGB goes down. No Karmic Revival in this final fight. As XO will have the man advantage. Tuba will use the Psionic Seduction to try to stun up anyone left of XO. XO1 as Danny Hook trying to do what he can, making sure that he's able to find some sort of damage, some sort of opportunity of defense here from ONSIDE. SGB now walking back into the fray as WDY. This might be the game changer, but he misses the Kraken impact. But it's not going to matter too much as 3 kicks in favor of ONSIDE might be enough to hold off the defense. And yes, Alone Phils isn't considered existed on the map during the Dance of the Butterfly, and he's not able to step onto the point.
Indeed, I mean, you caught between a hard place and a rock there. You know, having your ultimate online, but faced against so many members, I think you might as well try and pop it and hope someone else jumps in the nick of time to stall it out. But alas, nobody was with them during that dance. And that'll be the cart stalled out mere meters away from that third point.
Yeah, 2-0 will be the push for XO. Keep in mind, since it didn't go to a third point, if there will be no overtime. So if ONSIDE are able to match the push that XO were able to pull off, ONSIDE will force a map number 3. But if XO are able to hold here, they won't be able to secure the series. They will be able to secure a second win, a second point here in Group A. and will put themselves in a comfortable situation.
Much in common.
I felt like I was watching a crazy game of chess between SGB as well as Sungjuk-woo, right? Just trying to out-hide each other. Obviously, Spider-Man on a bit of a hunt to isolate the Atom Warlock, who obviously is trying to hide with the Karmic Revival. But hey, not even needed. It's WDY who came alive with the Bucky, with the Winter Soldier to shut down those final recesses. Now onto the Wolverine, taking those high grounds, trying to isolate with a good leap or so. We'll have to see what happens as the fight erupts around this corner.
Yeah, WDY was on top of the bridge, looking for his next meal. Who would be if he does land that barrel weave? But for now, onside.
A nice deep freeze.
Need to keep on pushing, and they will be able to do so. So far, no one going down early just yet. The Soul Bond will keep EXO sustained as Tuba gets taken out in the side.
I mean, it's the running the triple, and when you have a low fist running the Atom, that's so much damage. Lab's forced out by 27 innings just to negate WDY, and does more than just negate. Sends them back into the respawn room.
I had
Right
many
now,
faces.
onside, looking good on the defense here as Tuba does have the Squirrel ultimate for the time being, as EXO still struggling to find their ultimate. 27A is very close to Lone Phil, soon to have the Karmic Revival. That might be the game changer here as WDY and Inhyuk looking to team up with the Groot and the Moon Knight Wombo combo as Tuba and SGB are going to stack up the frags for the Lone Phils. Here we go. There's the resurrection that we all expected. For sure. Onside, we're ready to deal with it, but can they neutralize the threat that is of XOXO01's defense?
Rebirth immediately taken out by that meteor, and now trying to succumb to the silence of that seduction will be the likes of Ace and Hawk taken out with a beautiful right click from the Lone Fist. The defensive hold from XOXO after that Karmic Revival is unmatched.
Yeah, great hold from XO. I'm sure onside were ready for that Karmic Revival. There was some members ready to try and shut it down, but in the end, it's XO coming out on top. The Blue now operating on the thing. A little bit of a different character from what we've seen in matches past, as SGB is able to open things up with an opening frag as Sungjuk Woo looking to punch his way into a winning fight for XOXO01, and everyone onside dangerously low as goodness, Sungjuk Woo is not stopping here.
Good, not stopping, right? Using 27As as the buffer here just to keep everyone sustained, done. Just use the Eternal Bond, just pressing the issue, forcing the matter on to XOXO. That's so much for once again. It is the Karmic Revival coming out strong. They brought back 3 players from the brink, and now back into the fight we go, sustained by the rest of these players. It's gonna be the hand of Karshu, finding value. No one drops to it just yet, but hands don't miss, and Sungjuk won't take on with them.
Yeah, finding that an all-important elimination as WDY finds an opportunity to find Lone Phils, but it's immediately traded by Sungjuk Woo, and that trade benefits XO as Lone Phils is able to revive himself with the cocoon.
So much defensive power from this triple right now. They're not changing for the life of them. Now popping a bit more sustains. 30 seconds called out, and 12
Oh my
of them
gosh,
will be
look
enough
at-
by this fate of both worlds. Look at the wreckage that they're just pushing into it. They're not dropping bodies just yet, but they've bought enough time, enough map control, enough space for them to
15
hopefully prevent an overtime.
Yeah, 15 seconds left on the clock. Ace does have the Meteor M available. When does he use it? When will he strike Tuba? Switching over to the blade to provide some sort of anti-heal potential. 27 Ace will steal the Fate of both worlds thanks to the God of Mischief. Ace shutting down the Eternal Bond from Dawn as Zeta and XO looking to take control of the side. Oh, look at the response from onside. It didn't even trade, but it's in favor of XO for the time being as the feed lights up red. Sungjuk Woo and the crew finishing what's left of onside as there's a desperation portal, but a great zone. Zeta plays man to man, plays the defensive line here for XO, and he's able to just push, quite literally, ONSIDE out of the site, out of the payload, out of the portal, and out of this series.
Oh my days. Look at this MVP. Sungjae-woo, of course, rocking the MVP title, but not on the duelist that we have seen them time and time again. It is indeed the thing. It's clobbering time, and these hands do not absolutely miss from Sungjae-woo, bringing so much value, running the triple on defense, putting a stop to the aggression from ONSIDE Gaming.
Not only that, Sungjae-woo also playing the Spider-Man. We saw the hero being played once again. And not only did Sungjae-woo do work, the Lone Fills as well, playing that Black Panther for a little bit during that map number 2, and they're just able to just shove out and wipe the floor. That is of ONSIDE Gaming. And now on the defensive side, playing the Adam Warlock. And already 2 good Karmic Revivals. And that's all it took for a godlike defense from XO.
Yeah. I mean, these Karmic Revivals, we cannot stop talking about them, right? They bring so much value, especially in the heat of the moment. They draw out so much attention and resources and cooldowns and ultimates from your opponent. Yeah, sure, they take bodies with them, but now you bring back the momentum with ultimates of your own. I've seen right after Karmic Revival, we've had the likes of a Meteorem, the likes of a Fate of Both Worlds exploding out from XOXO, and the Lone Flits knows their role, knows they can't overstep or show their face too much on the battleground, or else you be like the Flip, you know. ONSIDE Gaming tried to run that SGB on the Adam Warlock during the first half, hiding, sneaky beaky like, but was sussed out time and time again by Sungjae-woo.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the difference it makes, right? We talk about it, the timing of these ultimates, the resource and management needed, the discipline also necessary when it comes to using your ultimates at the right time. That's what it boils down to as we look at the final highlight reel here as we close out Season 3.5 of competitive play here in Marvel Rivals Ignite. And lo, what a night it's been for all of these matches so far.
Indeed. I mean, a sweeping, resounding response from XOXO, right? They took the L not too long ago, and they came back with a very strong vengeance. And I think it's a very well-deserved win for them, right? They played cohesively, they showed flexibility in their hero pools despite very targeted bans that they were faced from the side of ONSIDE Gaming, the likes of Magneto being taken out, Spider-Man right off the rip from that first map as well. I mean, they showed resilience, and that's precisely what you need in the marathon that is the next series.
Yeah, and ONSIDE, like, again, props to them for doing what they can in the situation that they were in. It did seem like they had a bit of a tough time trying to figure out what they wanted to ban away here, at least in map number 2. You did ban out the Spider-Man in map 1, but you still came out on a loss, so... And then you're just in a bit of a pickle. Do you ban more duelists? Do you try to deny some of these options that XO really like to go for? Or do you just go for the safer option, just banning out these stronger characters? But in the end, XO were able to capitalize on this dilemma that ONSIDE had to deal with.
Yeah, it was, I mean, a hard pill to swallow for ONSIDE Gaming. You see Tuba actually hopped onto the blade in those last few seconds, trying to make hero plays right at that tail end. I think they got 2 eliminations or knockouts right as that overtime meeting was bleeding out, but you know, it's just too little too late, right? With that final team fight, will drop and lend the win over to XOXO. ONSIDE Gaming putting on a stellar performance, but unfortunately it doesn't quite hit the mark.
Yeah, and that's going to cause a bit of a disruption here in this Group A lineup, as ONSIDE did not secure that 3rd point. So they're still fighting for playoff contention, as XO will match them with their own 2nd point. And this Group A is starting to close the gap between Crazy Raccoon and the rest of the pack.
Yeah, when we first saw it very like 5 hours ago during the very first minutes of this stream, it really looked like Group A was quite separated point-wise, but with a few changes here, with the earlier Assemble Fire versus U-Wings, and now between XOXO and ONSIDE Gaming, it's tightening up just a little bit more. It's a little spicy here in the top side of Group A, and XOXO gotta feel happy with that, right? They want to be able to close the gap towards Crazy Raccoons, solidify themselves as a forerunner here from stage 1 into stage 2, and this win does exactly that.
Yeah, you want to stay in playoff contention. XO, we've seen them shine in stage 1, and they're looking to show brilliance yet again. And yeah, it's starting to look really close here in Group A, whereas also we do need to touch up on Group B as well. They're looking really close also.
Oh yeah, Group B is super tight. It's gonna be that the whole way through. We talked about it time and time again. The bracket of death is Group B, and it just keeps things spicy. It keeps viewers glued to the screens. It's good for us, as casters, because I love the storylines that we're painting here, and I felt like every single series today really mattered. And if ONSIDE Gaming had won today's series, it would have really solidified themselves as forerunners of Group A, right up there with Crazy Raccoons, and that's a big title to step off week 1 coming from OQ. But alas, that wasn't necessarily the narrative.
Yeah, a team coming from the open qualifiers, you could argue they are the surprise team out of this stage 2 tournament. A little bit of a throwback back in stage 1, where Dopamine, which did turn into O2 Blast in stage 1, were the surprise, as they did manage to make it in from open qualifiers into the playoff stage. And here it does seem like ONSIDE Gaming are looking to do what O2 Blast did in stage 1.
Indeed. I think about the hero picks that XOXO have brought out, right, in the last couple of maps, and it just, I'm in awe, right? Every time I think that I've got XOXO kind of nailed down with, okay, I think this is what they're gonna run, they come out with completely different strats. Looks like they've spent the last good few months, right, in the lab, really cooking stuff, great stuff for themselves, and it really shows. It really pays off the amount of training, the amount of dedication and effort that has gone into it to pop out with some crazy triple strat right off the bat.
And we are getting word that we will be interviewing the winner of this matchup, XOXO01's. On your left, the strategist player here for XOXO01, and they will be joining us in a few moments' time. Here we go. On your left, how are you feeling after that matchup against ONSIDE Gaming?
Yeah, feeling great always, as always. Winning is always feel good, better than lose, like yesterday.
Yeah, better than lose like yesterday. I'm glad you're all smiles today. On your left, a well-deserved win. And we're gonna talk about that loss yesterday, So what learnings did XOXO take from yesterday's loss to help you with your win today?
To be honest, I think the team that we play today play a bit different style from Raccoon. So we still play the same as we play with Raccoon right now, and we try to prepare to play against them for the next match and the next patch that's gonna coming in the next week, right? So
in
today
the end,
we still
comfort
playing,
comfort is definitely a great option here. Sometimes that is what you have to rely on. And final question, you did touch upon it a little bit. Next week you do play against Incipients. How are you feeling for that match?
For me, I don't know about my teammate, but for me, I just trying to play my best for every match, so I don't really care much about like who I have to play against. All I have to do, all I have to focus is like, do we gonna play good today? Do my team gonna play well or anything? So just focus to myself for the most.
I love it on your left. Just focus on your gameplay. Don't worry about everything else. It's just noise and do your part. Once again, thank you so much on your left for joining us for this interview.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
It's great to see, right? It's a different approach